Composers, do you dabble? Do you engage in the act of dabbling? If you are a dabbler, what does that entail exactly? One well-known dictionary says that a dabbler is one that dabbles, such as A, one not deeply engaged in or concerned with something, or B, a duck, such as a mallard or shoveler that feeds by dabbling. Assuming there are no mallards or shovelers watching this video, we'll take the first definition. The reason I'm making this video is that I recently shared a quote on social media, a quote concerned with composers and dabbling. The quote is from this book here, Teach Yourself to Compose Music by King Palmer, first published in 1947, I believe. King Palmer ends his first chapter with the following sentence. Composition, after all, is an art, not a pastime for dabblers. I couldn't help but find that quote hilarious. Just the phrase, not a pastime for dabblers, is so schoolmasterly and uppity that it crosses the line from the didactic to the comic quite spectacularly, and quite unintentionally, of course. In a light-hearted moment, I shared this quote on social media, expecting that maybe a few others might also see the funny side of this quote. But the responses were not at all what I was expecting. Responders tended to be in one of two camps, either strongly agreeing or strongly disagreeing with the quote. I think there's something about social media that brings out the extremes in people. I shared the quote because I honestly just found it quite funny, and I was genuinely surprised at the reaction that it got. But it did get me thinking. Is composition a pastime for dabblers? Can it ever be thus? Those who disagreed with the quote found it arrogant or high-minded, elitist perhaps. Of course, we all start out as dabblers, they said. And how can we learn anything except through dabbling? I have a lot of time for this viewpoint, as I'll come on to in a moment. Others, however, vehemently agreed with the quote. Composition is definitely not a pastime for dabblers, they intoned severely. It is an art. It must be taken utterly seriously at all times. The mere suggestion that one can dabble at composition is at best a bad joke, and at worst a blasphemous insult to the glorious edifice that is serious music. I mean, come on. Of course, the best compositions aren't the result of a few moments of idle dabbling. But who among us hasn't occasionally found themselves dabbling instead of getting down to the hard graft of composing? My own view is that we should all have a little time for dabbling in our lives, even in our professional lives as composers. We should take ourselves a little less seriously. We should certainly encourage dabbling in children, so that they can discover in a low-pressure environment where their skills and interests lie. Then if they do have an aptitude for composing, and they enjoy it, they can gradually take it more seriously. But even in adults, dabbling, I submit to you, can be a positive use of time. Now, I'm not suggesting that professional composers, or those on the journey to becoming professional composers, should spend all their time procrastinating, just tinkering around, engaging in musical doodling. But to grant oneself some leeway, some respite from the pressures of life, just to dabble for a bit, can be hugely freeing. In my own case, if I sit down to start a big composition, it can be very daunting. I was recently commissioned to write a string sextet, and it took me a good while to build up the courage to properly sit down and make a start. Every time I compose a piece, I obviously want to write something incredible, something of great worth, something that humanity will cherish and that will be passed down from generation to generation as a prime example of the sublimest heights that music can reach. But if you're anything like me, it's nigh on impossible to create anything while labouring under such lofty illusions. I am no Bach, I am no Beethoven, I am no enter your favourite composer here, but still, I feel a pressure to create work that displays the musical ability I do have in the best possible light. When I take the pressure off and just dabble on the piano for a bit, or let my mind do some musical wandering, that's when ideas can sometimes emerge. Several different musical themes might come along during a period of what I might call dabbling, and you may find that one of them could be the spur to a new composition. Then, of course, there is a certain amount of gritting one's teeth and getting down to the hard job of arranging thousands upon thousands of notes into a completed piece, whatever it may be, whether it's a piano prelude or a symphony. Because it is hard for most of us. It's enjoyable too, and there are incredible moments of flow when you and the creative spirit are truly as one, and the music just pours out of you. But these moments are comparatively rare, I must say, at least for me. Composing is largely quite hard work, so don't we deserve a little bit of dabbling from time to time? Even if it generates nothing of lasting worth, it's still fun, and we're still flexing our musical muscles, even slightly. Dabbling can be a great warm-up to composing in earnest, just as marathon runners warm up before a race. What do you think? Do you dabble? Or do you compose in full serious mode 100% of the time? Let me know in the comments. Please subscribe to my channel too, and feel free to check out some of my own compositions, which I admit have been created thanks to a rather generous amount of dabbling.